All right, everybody. This is my official return to YouTube. Also, no, thank you for all the get well wishes and everything. Much, much appreciated because last week was fucking rough, man. And if anyone I didn't get back to on social media and stuff, just know I was with my daughter the last few days, and that was basically it. Like, with a 9 year old, like about to be 9 year old in like 3 days, they're worse than like dealing with an adult like just whacked on cocaine. Like I'd rather deal with the adult. But let's do Final Destination 2. Now the funny part is I already watched this, the third one and the fourth one like a week ago when I was planning on doing these and knocking them out. Because we didn't even start like the theme of the month with Fulci and this whole series. Like, yeah, we're starting on the 23rd of February. We're starting with the theme of February. Still didn't finish Saw from last month. This is new people to the channel. This has been a thing since the very beginning. So this is what you get. I even put it in the section. I say, yep, I'm gonna say there's videos up tomorrow, and then they won't be up for 2 days, or it's gonna be this movie, and it's a completely different movie that has nothing to do with that one. Like, this is a very spontaneous is how I run my channel. So just whatever I'm feeling like, that's what I'll put polls up, and then like hope that my picks are the ones that are picked. I'll get a friend if there's a tiebreaker. I'll be like, yo, go over there and vote for for Fulci, so I can because I really want to talk some Fulci. Done. Fucking, if you guys don't like it, get out and vote more. Wouldn't be an issue. But all joking aside, thank you guys very much. Like I feel much much better. Than sometimes you just need those extra days off of social media to rejuvenate yourself. Until I was just like on the drive home today, I was like, I really want to do videos like when I get home. Like it has to get back to that. Like sometimes you need a little week here and there, and but now with COVID, don't do that because that's fucking terrible. But let's finally talk about Final Destination 2 from 2003. Yeah, 2003. So I said in the last video, I always go between this one and the first one as my favorites in this franchise. It always goes to two. Like the little nod or the little like push that one of them needs, it always ends up in two's favor. I don't know why. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie and the first movie. So maybe that's why. But let's get the most important thing about this movie out of the way. Because if not, it's distracting the whole time while I watch this. It still is. But if I talk about it, maybe maybe I won't think about it as much. Kim, the main girl in this movie, AJ Cook, I want to say. I've never seen her in anything really again, but she is so fucking sexy in this movie. Like right, like guys, come on, like girls do. She is gorgeous. Like she is so cute in this movie that I've had a crush on her in this movie, this character, ever since this movie came out. What 20 years ago now. So a long time. It's kind of like Morgana from Wishmaster 2. If you guys haven't seen my video on that, I go into my past romance with her in my head like pretty hard. But when this movie came out, I was kind of excited because I loved the first one, and this just upped everything. Like I think this is my favorite because it's still it still feels as high budget. It doesn't feel as high budget as the first one, but it does feel high budgeted enough that it has those extra over the top kills and deaths that happen in this movie. That really is where the franchise ran with it afterwards. Like the first movie, like it was a little more believable what was happening to these people. Get hit by a bus. I mean, it happens. in the shower, choking yourself, however that works. Like I said in that movie, in that video, I have no idea what that even is, the cable, and why, or any of that. He should not have been deemed a suicide. That is ridiculous. But all the types of deaths that happen, hit by a sign and stuff for Carter, all these things are in like the realm of believability a little bit. This is when they started really going out there with the death scenes. And I really think that's what's like kick-started it for the franchise. Like this movie was more influential on where this franchise went with the next three entries than the first one. Like I feel like the first one is more of a standalone film, and then it just gets referenced and has like a ripple effect on the rest of the series. And it is cool how they like tie this whole franchise together. But first thing out of the way, yeah, AJ Cook, Kim, fucking gorgeous to this day. So that's out of the way. It's gonna be a long ass video too. Just letting you guys know. Like, and I know as I say this every single time. I say when don't record a video for a few days, especially for like a week being sick and shit like that. The first video I do when I come back, long as shit. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's like when people who write you down, like in a journal or a diary, to like get those thoughts out. Maybe it's like I'm sitting on all these thoughts for all this time of not doing a video, like a full long video like this. I don't know. And it's all just stockpiled in there, then it all comes out, and that's why it's longer. That's kind of where I'm settled with it. Honestly, like that's what I think it is. But this has nothing to do with the movie. So Final Destination 2 sucks that I gotta watch this on my laptop, like this whole series. So I gotta keep these fucking headphones on the whole time. But whatever, because I even noticed, like when I don't have to have them on when I'm watching on the TV, and I put them around my neck, they're still on me. But like I've noticed too, like if like rewatching something, that like you can hear like the rattle of the headphones. Has that been an issue for a bit? Because if so, my bad. But it'll be fixed now. So I don't know how long that goes back. Probably for months. I would not be surprised at all. Like probably definitely months. So let's talk about Final Destination 2, the movie that has ever since I will never get behind a logging truck on a road, on a highway, ever. Like every time I see a logging truck on a highway, specifically on a highway or a freeway, something like that. I don't live in California. They have freeways. Do they allow logging trucks? I don't fucking know, nor do I care. I just want to watch this movie. And, but every single time, you cannot not think of a logging truck when you watch, like after watching this movie, like ever. That's another thing is very effective with. Same with the first movie, and people didn't want to go on airplanes. Same thing here. Very good. But this is why I have to fucking pirate movies. Like, sorry for those out there who have an issue with people who don't buy movies, who like download them. Know that, like, know this side of it. I don't give a shit. So it doesn't matter really what any of you think about it. But with all the movies I watch, and especially like now with the channel, like going through like specific like franchises and movies, I'd be broke. Like just renting like movies. There's no way. Like there's no way. So it's just never gonna happen. So all right, let's finally talk about this movie. See, this is the journal coming out. All right. Side note. I'm only bringing it up because the credits. We have like the whole radio show or whatever talk show that's talking about Flight 180, and it was exactly a year ago today, and all that stuff. And they said again the numbers that there was 40 students and 4 teachers. Now, I said in the last video that the teacher thing makes no sense to me, never did. Now, Professor, I know you said it could possibly be that they needed someone who spoke French. It's a good idea. But if that's what they meant, it was executed horribly. Like, nowhere do I ever get that intention from Miss Luton when she's asking to go on and saying that, like, one of us has to be on, like, and we have 40 students that are going to be in Paris for the week. We need someone there with them. She's not saying because it's like he speaks French, and like if she went with him, like if she went on instead of the French dude, she don't know French. So that don't make sense if the other three, you know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. Like it's just a weird line. Like that whole little dialogue with Luton and the airport guy. It makes no sense when they mention the other teachers. So maybe the other one spoke French, but they never said anything about speaking French, Miss Luton. She just said they need a teacher on board in order to watch over these kids. I'm not spending this much time in it, but good point, Professor. I think I said this in the last video for the first movie. The credits are so fucking long in these movies. Like, the exposition here, like, Jesus. Like, I'm sure, I know they wanted to bring in people that didn't see the first one and then give them a little recap and stuff, but God, man, like when you know the franchise, it's just it goes on and on. It's just the guy on the talk show just talking about everything about death. He sounds like Tony Todd, but without the awesome, cool, iconic voice. That's how he sounds. So he's just explaining everything about death, and that it's a force, and that if you cheat death, and it'll come back on its list, and like everything from the first movie that we've learned from that movie. So I get it. They wanted to fill people in. It's like I could sit through 5 minutes of Friday the 13th recaps every single time. I shouldn't bitch about this, but it is a little long, like a little bit. They should just shorten that down a bit. All right, so Kimberly and her friends are going to Daytona for spring break, I think. Maybe it's her blue eyes with the blue outfit that she's wearing, like that. Like I told you, it's gonna keep coming up. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Like this is 20 years of loving this fucking character, so it's gonna ooze out all over this video. So they're going to Daytona, and I love her friend. Like when the dad's like listing stuff off, like you got this, you got this, you got mace, and she's like chains, condoms, whips. Like I like your style, girl. See, like not every friend has what it takes to say that in front of their dad, like their friend's dad. Like that's a special friend. That's somebody you want around. Indeed. I think it's just the characters too in this movie. Like besides Kimberly, like all of them though. Like what's it, Rory, the cokehead. Like he's hilarious. I fucking love that character. Kat, the stuck up businesswoman bitch. Like it's not really a great character, but she's memorable, like for sure. And oh, what the hell, Eugene, the black dude, that chill dude. He's cool. If he's Jamaican, trust everything he says. If you don't know what that means, you're not watching enough JT's horror discussions. So get on that. Um, the cop, those are like all very descriptive of these characters. It's just the cop. I don't remember his name. So whatever his name is, I always confused him with the actor from Boston Public who played the teacher. This doesn't matter, but whatever. He looks like another guy. Is what I'm trying to say. So the Nora, I remember that name of the mom and the kid, all like cool characters. It's not like the ones in the first one aren't, but like I mean, how many people were really loving Miss Luton? Like how many people you know that love that character? I mean, I already said Todd's a fantastic character. It just makes you feel for him, especially after the plane fucking explodes and he loses his brother. Like that's just sad shit. I love that character, but I feel like all the characters in this movie are just a lot more memorable for me. And I don't know if, again, if that's just nostalgia of just when I saw the first one, whatever my mind state was, and then when this one came out 2 years later, I was in a different mind state and different point of life, and this one just resonated more. I don't know, but I love the characters in this movie, and I love how they start to like focus on music as like a sign of death in this movie. They don't do it much, if I recall, from a week ago, which I should remember. But I'm pretty sure they only do it here, like right before the big pileup. And they have Highway to Hell come on. And then when after a premonition and stuff, and it's about to actually happen, she turns it on and Highway to Hell's on. I like how they expand upon that in the next movie. Like having that, there's someone looking behind you, whatever it is. Love that. Like that's one of my favorite aspects of the third movie. And then they do it again in like the fourth or fifth one. Apologies. Apparently, like 5 days ago, I was supposed to be up at 2 in the morning. I don't know, but I love how they do that with the music. Like I'm pretty sure it might be the fifth. Yeah, when they do "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas, that's pretty sure it's the fifth one. I don't know. I didn't rewatch that one, so, but I love how they do that here. How they just plant that seed and then expand upon it later. We also get titties in this movie, unlike the first one, right? Yeah, no, there's none in the first one, and then I'm pretty sure that continues in the rest of these movies. So, all right, people who call this a slasher movie where death is the killer, you can have it partially now. I touched upon that in the last video, how stupid that is. But, alright, if you throw in some nudity with the kills, we'll negotiate on it. There's so too much to like really go into detail about, but no really need to if you've seen this movie, which you should have seen it if you're watching a fucking spoiler discussion. I don't think I've said that on the channel in a while, but I used to say that all the time, like the first few months that I started, all the time. I say, "No, if you've seen this movie, I haven't seen it." Like, oh yeah, well, why would you be watching this? Who knows? But it never made sense to me. But the whole pileup premonition is fucking awesome. Like it looks so good. Like all the quick, and I love also in this franchise how quickly they don't have to worry about character development really, except for like the main characters, like the last three survivors and stuff, like near the end, and barely even with that. But just showing each character in like before the fucking tragedy occurs, like this goes for all the movies. They do a great job of like all right, this character, oh yeah, that's the dickhead motorcycle lottery guy, and this is the cokehead, and like, and this is the stuck-up businesswoman, and this is a guy, this is a woman and her son, like this is the cop or deputy sheriff, whatever. They do a good job of that. Like, and you don't really need much character development, and they even pay like less attention to like the first fucker who's gonna die, like after they get saved from whatever the tragedy is in whatever movie. It's really well done actually. But the whole pileup is awesome. And then she just snaps out of it and all the same shit, and then Highway to Hell, and it comes on, and then she just pulls over. Like, nope, like nobody's getting on that road. And then it sucks that her friends have to die. They seem like chill people, but hey, death has a list, and they were fucking on it apparently twice. So, in the premonition and in real life. So you had two shots. Most people don't even get three. So I'll miss you guys. But I love how she gets pulled out of the way, like after when the real tragedy occurs. And the biggest thing to say about the premonition, by the way, is obviously the log truck. When it fucking the log just comes and it smashes through the cop's windshield, face, and out the back. Like that's why we don't drive behind fucking log trucks. Like if you've seen this movie, like grew up with this movie, that's why we don't do that, because we don't want that to happen to our faces or any part of us. That's exactly why. But an awesome scene, and probably my favorite tragedy in the opening of any of these movies. I also really prefer in this movie to the first one. In the first one, we had the dickhead FBI agent with the glasses. In this one, we have the sheriff deputy who helps, like, actually believes and, like, tries to help her and, like, the group and everything. I prefer that so much to Alex just being grilled like crazy in the first movie. and what a dickhead that guy with the glasses is. Like, black guy's chill as can be. The white dude is such a dick. That whole movie. So that plays something in it. But just like I said for the first movie, it goes for the whole series. The way that they build each kill and make you just wonder what exactly is going to kill these people. And they keep showing one possibility and then building upon it with another one and then another one and another one. And then it's usually the very first one or it's just something completely out there, but it makes sense because it was set up when you think back about it. It's so well done in this entire franchise. Like, one of the best things this franchise has going for it, like, is how good it is with setting up all these death scenes. Like with Evan in his apartment, the lottery winner, and then he's cooking, and then you're just seeing a magnet fall into the Chinese food box. Like, that's fucking awesome. Like, that shit could happen. Like, you could have a magnet there, falls in, he puts it in the microwave, and that shit starts fucking ready to explode. And then the whole fire breaks out, and right at the beginning of the scene, though, before he starts cooking, he had spaghetti, or noodles or some shit, in the pan, and he threw it out his window. And that is what ends up killing him. Like, that's fucking brilliant. Like, I love this first death, like, of the survivor. So good in this. Then he just finally breaks through the windows and stuff and gets on the fire escape, and then he comes down and he's pulling on the escape ladder and then he falls and like it comes down like right above his face like after he trips on the spaghetti, and then he just looks up at it, he's like, oh, and then it just like falls the rest of the way and impales him in the eye. It doesn't look good. Like the CGI, it doesn't. But I don't remember if I said it for this franchise. And I think I said it for Piranha 3D, which I still got to do 3 double deep. So thanks, Justin, from the past, for reminding me and you guys from now. I don't know. But it doesn't matter with the series. Like, with how crazy the deaths start getting, like, go all the CGI you want. Like, you guys know me, I prefer practical effects anytime. But, and there are some, but it gets so heavy CGI like the next few entries. But this is another series that it just really doesn't matter to me. It's like, this is how you got to do it, obviously. So just do it and have a blast with it. And that's what they do with every single one. See, I even like so much that the detective, isn't it Thomas? His name? I'm going to call him Thomas until they correct me and say his name. If not, he's just Thomas for the rest of this video. He's going to be Thomas. But I'm pretty sure it's something with a T. Who knows? But I love how believes it so much that he's the one that's doing all the research. Like, he's looking up premonitions and Flight 180 and everything. Like, he's like going balls deep into this investigation, man. Like, I love that about his character. Like, compared to the FBI dude. And there's a cool dude in the fourth one, even though that movie's not that good. Like the security guard at the racetrack. Yeah, he's cool, but he's more like comic relief. But he's a cool like character that's kind of like that. But this guy's like much more serious, obviously, and ends up like falling for Kimberly at the end, which stay the fuck away from my Kimberly Thomas, if that is your real name. So Clear Rivers is back again, Ellie Lauder in this movie, in a padded room. I mean, smart, I guess. Like, that's pretty much all you can do. Like, what more can you do? So, best thinking that she can do is lock herself up in a padded room. And I love the whole scene when the nurse is walking and like rattling off all the things that like to make sure that Kim doesn't have on her. And then at the end, like she says, is she dangerous? And she's like, no, honey, she assumes you are, or something like that. I love that whole little scene. Even though I can think of a bunch of ways she could still have been killed by death in that room, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's a cool little scene between them. And then like she And this bothers me a little bit. She refers to all the other survivors of Flight 180 Clear as her friends. She wasn't friends with fucking any of those people, man. Like, none of them. Like, none. She was friends, maybe, like, talk to Alex here and there. That was it. Like, they even said, like, that she was a loner or something like that. Like, she didn't know, she wasn't friends with Carter. She wasn't friends, like, maybe, like, as, you know, their adventure, if you want to call it that, continues, like, throughout the movie. But there's less and less of them as the movie goes on. So I don't understand that line. Like, they were not friends. Like, those were not friends of hers. Just a little thing, but it bothers me. Man, when Clear like committed herself in here, like from how we see her in the last movie, the first thing getting in here, her first priority must have been like, all right, I need to do my hair up blonde before I commit myself into a padded cell, like for who knows how long, the rest of my life, maybe. Because why her hair is different, like I don't know. That's weird. And then we found out a little earlier that Alex died from getting smashed in the face with a falling brick. Again, that's in the realm of believability a little bit. The kills we see in this and the way the people die is just so like tenfold, like out of reality. And I love that about this franchise. This kid Tim is so funny. When him and his mom are at the dentist, and he's like, he gets up when his name gets called, and he says to his mom, he's like, if he gives me the gas and I wake up with my pants unbuttoned, we ain't paying. Dude, that's my humor right there. I like this kid Tim. I'll always remember from this scene just when the doctor leaves doctor, he's a dentist. I forget what show that's from. Oh, Seinfeld. When that's such a great episode with Tim Watley. Yeah, he's a dentist. You guys, dentists out there, you are dentists, so don't worry. We do love you. We just don't like going to you. But when the nitrous, like the oxygen kicks down to zero and he's just getting pure nitrous, which he's having a blast, trust me, for a little bit until the fish like hanging above him. This is why you don't fucking hang something like this above where a patient's mouths are going to be. Like, come on, like that's so stupid. I'm sure that's like a health violation or something. I'm sure it is. It has to be. And then we get the same thing as in the first movie, that she can see, little visions or little clues and stuff. Like she sees the pigeons in the reflection of the house of the sheriff's house, Thomas. I really hope that's his name. But whatever. Yeah, I'm on no sleep. And like drove for like 7 hours today. So yeah, I'm in the right state of mind to be doing a video right now. But Final Destination 2, great state of mind to be watching that movie right now. So fuck you. But what a cool kill. Like for this kid, I think he's like what 15, Tim, and he runs out and like Kim says like the pigeons. That don't help at all. And he ends up running towards the pigeons, and then like the plate of glass, like the big pane of glass that the construction workers are using, like that they're like lifting up, falls down and just crushes this kid's body into absolute just nothingness. Just like blood and guts everywhere. Like, oh, it's like it's painful to watch. Like it really is. But it's hilarious every single time. Like it's such a great death though. Would that really happen? I mean, again, like the first movie was like if there's a glass expert watching, let me know. Like just like if the airport glass would have actually, like exploded in when the plane blew up all that fucking distance away. I needed your help then. I need your help now. Let us know. If a pane of glass came crashing down on some 15-year-old kid, if there would just be nothing left. Like, at all. let us know. So Clear comes out. I can't take that name seriously. She comes out of the mental institution because of the whole conversation they had earlier between her and Kim, and she feels like a bitch. she, she fucking should. She's an absolute bitch in this movie. Like, she doesn't want to help at all. Like, I get it. You don't want to die. Like, I absolutely understand. But like I was saying, with that whole like scene with the nurse and Kim saying like, make sure you don't have this on you. There's still ways that like she can be killed in there. Like, she has a bunch of newspaper clippings and stuff. Like, can't they all just like get a bad paper cut or some shit and like bleed her out, or like, I don't know, like something? Can't it's death? Can't it just say like you have high cholesterol and fucking just like twist her heart and give her a heart attack? Just like give her some disease, like, right? It doesn't seem like it could do that. Like, it's death. I don't get it. Should be able to get you any way it wants is my fucking point, okay? Now the whole like new life like fucks with death's plan idea in this movie, meh, it does nothing for me. Like, I don't know what the fuck it means. Like, I mean, I get it, but it's just so fucking out there. Like, that whole idea. Like, same within the fifth Final Destination. Yeah, the last one. When if you kill somebody, then you get their time that they have left. When the fuck did that happen? Like, I don't like that in the fifth one. I don't like this in this one. Like, any of that. And then, like, shouldn't she have seen her in her premonition, like, die? Like, the whole reveal that, like, she shouldn't have even been in the pileup. Shouldn't she have seen that shit in the premonition? No. Like, she doesn't. It's just, it's manufactured. It feels very forced. I don't like any of that with the pregnant chick, even though she gives a hilarious line a little bit later. One scene I'll always remember from this movie, like, ever since I first saw it, like, my one of my favorite scenes in this movie, is when Rory, the cokehead drug addict, puts something in the closet and shit starts falling, and then he sees like the shadow, and it's the man with hooks, and he's like, because they were just talking about signs and everything like that, and giving a phone out to everybody so that if they see a sign or like they can call them and say like, if I say subway, then get to a high rise. Like, I like all of that. I like Eugene's whole little skepticism of all of this. Absolutely love that, and his meltdown like after Nora's death here. And I'll just always remember that image of like the hooked man shadow, like, so effective. Like, at least when I saw this, like, growing up, like, awesome. And then Nora's whole death is just, it's fucking terrible. Oh man, can you imagine? Like, that's why, knowing what we know in this franchise, like, if Alex knew ahead of time how death wraps up its list and like kills off the people that were supposed to die in such crazy ways and painful ways, I would just stayed on the fucking plane, right? Like, plane crash, it explodes, you're fucking dead. Like, you're not suffering. You're not like going through crazy shit's not happening to you or your body or anything like that. You're just combust and you're done. I'm not getting a fucking ladder through my eye and dying like a fucking idiot. Like, at all. That sounds so ridiculous. Like, I don't know. But, like, just the crazy ways that they kill people off in this movie. But Nora's death is just sad as shit. Because she was just saying that, like, she's at peace. And, like, if she has to go, like, because her husband passed a few years ago. Now Tim died. And if she has to go, then she's at peace with that. And she leaves. But then when he starts freaking out about the hook man and stuff, we see in the elevator that there's a guy with mannequin like parts, I guess, like amputee parts, I don't, something like that, right? But they have hooks on them, and you know that it's this guy that's gonna kill her, and you just want to see how. And then just when she goes to get off the elevator, and I love how they foreshadow this when they first come into this the deputy's apartment here, when they say somebody says something about the bumpers on the elevator that he's been complaining about it. Like they foreshadow it like very, very subtly. Like they do a great job of it. Like I didn't even notice it the first time I saw this movie, or the second, or like I've seen this movie a decent amount. Awesome little detail right there. Like nice little add-on. Like it's so rewarding when you link that. But and then she gets her hair hooked on one of the hooks that the guy's carrying. I know she gets stuck in the elevator, and then they're just trying to help her. And Eugene, who was a skeptic through all of this, is freaking out. Like he is so afraid of what he's seeing right now. And then her head just gets fucking caught in between and just lopped off, and the guy with the hook is freaking out. Like Eugene's in the corner having a panic attack. Dude, it's absolutely hilarious, but it is effective. Like that is sad shit because she's after all that stuff about being at peace of dying, she shouts out and stuff like, "I don't want to die. I don't want it." For some reason, that fucking hits. Like that really does, because that would be 99.9% of everybody would be saying, even if they said they were at peace with it, you're never truly at peace with it. Like until right before you fucking die like that, and that is horrific. I would have just stayed on the plane and exploded. Yeah, and then Eugene's whole little meltdown of him coming in with the gun and taking the deputy's gun and puts it to his head. And he starts like saying like, "I control my life," and like all that whole scene. And then he goes and tries to shoot himself 6 times, and they're all duds, and because it's not his time. Like that whole scene though, like I love his performance in this movie as Eugene. I forget who this guy's name is. Like if someone knows, leave it. But I don't care that much. But I know I've seen him in other stuff. So, but his performance is great in this movie. Like I said, like all the characters are so memorable in this movie because the acting is pretty damn good in this movie. Like it's not great like all the time, but it's pretty damn good compared to like the fourth and fifth entries for sure. I also really like in this because you see in a lot of horror movies or just movies in general that like a little reveal or twist is that it's backwards. You know what I mean? Like you see that in a lot of movies that oh like we got to do the reverse and like that. So like in this movie compared to the first one, death's list is going in the reverse order that they would have died in the pileup. I like that there's an actual reason for that. Like that it's not just fucking in there just to be different. It's like, oh, this time it's working backwards. We don't know why. Ha! Like they give a good damn reason to it, like for it. That if they would have died anyway. If the people who got off flight 180 didn't die in death wrapping up its list. That they all have a connection to one of the people who died in the last movie. And that they should have been dead and they already cheated death. Awesome. Like, thank you. Like, nice, great little idea. It explains the reverse stuff or backward stuff. Beautifully done. I've always liked that about this movie. Oh, Terry. Terry's the blonde chick, Carter's girlfriend from the last movie. Just in case you really waited from the last video to now to know. But they just mentioned her name. That scene does go a little long, though. Like, then it gets into the whole Kimberly thing with her mom and who got robbed and killed and shit. I mean, sad, yeah, but like you could have shaved that off. Like, we didn't need that. The whole thing with the link between them and the survivors from Flight 180, cool just like that. Like, we didn't need this whole in-depth backstory on Kim's whole way that she cheated death. Just, I don't know, goes on a little long for me. Again, clear, they're not your fucking friends. Maybe two of them by the end, and one is so forced. So one at the end, a boyfriend. They were not your fucking. They were not your damn friends. Okay, clear. That's why you get fucking exploded at the end of this movie. I don't know why this scene is so effective for me. Like ever since I first saw it, when Rory is talking to Kim and saying like, when I die, like you're gonna live like after I die. Like, can you take my keys and stuff? And like, after I die, can you go and like throw out all my drugs and paraphernalia and porn and stuff like that? Anything that'll break my mother's heart. Dude, that's a fucking effective scene. Like, you feel for him right there. Like, maybe that's another reason why I like his character. Like, he actually has some fucking like emotions and shit. Like, he shows it right in that scene. As we keep going in this franchise, it gets a lot worse with cool characters, like people I care about. This is like pretty much maybe the next movie is like the last that I really care about. Like the survivors, like most of them, 4 and 5. I don't think I care for maybe like more than 2 or 3 of them in either of those films. And then their van crashes backwards, and the PVC pipe is behind a cat, and she can't get out because the tree or some shit is like through the door, pinning her in there, her leg in there, and then Rory taking the when the news van's coming, he pulls the kid out of the way and says, "You want to die," which we get in the little twist at the end of this movie, which is stupid. We'll get to that, and that whole scene, then Cat just like they're trying to get her out, and then it deploys the airbag, which is supposed to help you, and it fucking just hits her head back, and just like the PVC pipe, because it was like shaped like a spike conveniently, so it fucking comes through her head, and she's just dead. And like the cigarettes, the thin ass tiny cigarettes, I can't stand those. I don't know, just not even just an aesthetic thing, just fucking it's like air. It's whatever. Nothing to do with fucking Final Destination 2. But less time than I thought. Like, this is gonna be over soon. But she drops her cigarette, and then like it leaks like and lights a fire and shit, and then the fence explodes, and then Rory just gets cut into pieces and falls down. That sucks, man. Like, that really does. Like, that hits me hard a little bit. Like, I really love Rory in this character, Rory's character in this movie. Like, I really do. And Eugene, like Eugene too. And it sucks that like he has a collapsed lung, like from the collision. So now they rush him to the hospital. I love his character too. I wish that we got more of him. I wish he didn't just like be absent until his death, basically. But whatever, is what it is. Now, I know this is stupid. I'm saying it right here at a time. So if I bust out laughing at how ridiculous this thought is, fuck you. They get there, and the girl had the baby, Isabella had the baby, so they think they're saved. Which again, I don't care for any of that, and I mean it doesn't turn out being that. I mean it makes more sense with what happens at the end, so I guess I can't really fault it. But that whole plot line with Isabella, but she gives that great line, like when she delivers the baby and they see that like the baby's safe. She's like, "Who the hell are they?" Like, I love the way she delivers that line. That is so fucking hilarious every time I see this movie. But then Kim has another vision with their hands in the truck, in the white van. And she says, hands, bloody hands. And then Clear says, Eugene, and rushes for Eugene's room where he's in the hospital with the oxygen. Kim could have just said, like, no, they're white hands. Like, right? Like, come on. Like, that, she could have saved her a lot of times. She would have been alive. This bitch killed Claire. Clear. Not Claire. Clear. This bitch killed her. Like, seriously. She could have just said that. She could have just said, no, they're not black hands. They're white, bloody hands. And then Clear wouldn't have went to check on Eugene, and the fire wouldn't have started and exploded and then fucking charred her to death. I don't know. I told you. I told you ahead of time. It's fucking stupid. But rebut me. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, I'd love to hear that side of the argument, because I think I'm 100% here. That's another thing. Do we ever, like, Clear's death makes no sense here on death's list? Mm-mm. Like, shouldn't she be the first one on the list? Like, then the rest of them? Or shouldn't she be at the end of this whole new cycle? Because then it goes back to her. So why does she die here with Eugene? Like, this makes no sense. It never has. I don't get any of that. This is just a way to kill her off. There was no thought put into where she was on death's list at all. Like, I'd love to hear an explanation from someone. Because there's no explanation for it, like, at all. So let me know. And then we have the ridiculous ending here, which, yeah, funny, but like, come on. I mean, first of all, they're having dinner here or lunch or whatever with this random family that was in the field that they crashed in, like on the way to the hospital. Am I missing something? And have been for like 20 years now? Because what relationship do they have with them? Except for that fucking afternoon. Someone tell me, because I've never understood that. Why they're eating with these random people. But anyway, so then he mentions, the dad says that or the kid says that oh, like when the guy pulled me out of the way of the news van when Rory did that on that day. And turns out he's going to check on the barbecue, and it fucking explodes, and the mom's screaming, and then the arm falls onto her plate, and it is so big. The arm is so huge, man. It does not look like a young kid's arm, like, at all. Like, it really doesn't. Like, that's always took me out of the ending of this movie. I know it's stupid. It just always has. Like, it's so dumb. But correct me if I'm wrong. Thomas, I never got confirmation on his name. I really hope it's Thomas. Because if not, I'm going to feel like a dick to this character. But I really don't care. So, but him, Kimberly, and yeah, him, Kimberly, and that's it, are the last survivors in the whole series, right? Because uh, what the hell's her name? Wendy, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, the next one, and her sister and the friend, they all die on the train at the end. In the fourth one, they all die and get hit by a truck or some shit, and the fifth one ties into the first one. Yeah, and they die in that way. I don't want to spoil it if people haven't seen past a certain installment for some reason, but such a fun movie. It's yeah, it's my favorite. Like, I still gotta do these on the next few of them, but I know 4 and 5 ain't winning any fucking medals like in this race at all. So it was between 1 and 2. It's this one every time. Like, just for all the things that I've mentioned. Like, just such a fun movie, memorable characters. It's pretty well directed. It's pretty well acted. Just awesome kills, like memorable deaths. Awesome. Like, such a fun movie. So, Final Destination 2, 2003, excellent, love it, and I have a lot of just nostalgia for this movie because it is fan fucking tastic, and my favorite in the franchise. So I might have 3 up in a little bit, I might not, but I will have it up tomorrow for sure. And yeah, wherever you're from, hope you're having a good morning or night, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, guys.